What's up, Cloud Gamers? Welcome to CGX Cast. This is episode 11. And my goodness, we have so much to talk about today. We have a full panel. As you guys can see, we have some awesome people here. It'll be pretty cool. We're going to get to them in a bit just to check what they're playing and see how they are doing. But I just want to let you guys know the format of this podcast. So we try to cover all of the cloud gaming platforms here. So you're talking about Google Stadia, you're talking about Geforce Now, the newly introduced Luna, xCloud, Shadow PC if we have news for it, and whatever else there is out there. So if you guys like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel because we do this every Saturday at 2 p.m. And also these awesome guys that are on this panel too, you can see their names and the channels in the description. So make sure you subscribe to them as well and take a look. So to get started, let's just see how y'all on the panel are doing. Let's start with Mark. How you doing? What are you playing?
Howdy. I'm good, man. I'm good. I have been checking out this week, actually, Rocket League. The whole Epic store refreshed it in my mind. I used to play a bit in the past. Turns out still pretty decent, so gave that a go. And I don't think they advertised enough that if you got it from the Epic Game Store, they gave you £10 of Epic credit as well. And I was like, oh, okay, so you're going to pay me. That's fine. Works for me. And I'm proud to say, proud is probably a strong word based on how the conversation today is going to go. I have been playing a bit of Stadia. I finally jumped into Strange Brigade, which was a pro game this month. Finally jumped into some Stadia, played, clocked a few hours on that. It was pretty good. Held my attention for a little while. I'm not sure if I'm going back.
Cool. Good to hear from you, Mark. How about you, Ben? What have you been playing? How have you been doing, sir?
Oh, I've been doing good. Same as Mark. I got into Rocket League a little bit this week and used my $10 credit already. I ended up super hot. My Control Delete was on sale for $15, so I paid $5 for it with that credit. So figured that would be a good game.
Cool. That is awesome. Any other platforms that you've been testing out? Any other games?
It's been a pretty crazy week trying to catch up at work. So not too much. I've been following all the news on Luna. That's crazy.
Yeah. We'll get to Luna in a bit. I know that's a pretty hot item right now in cloud game to talk about. But yeah, we're gonna check in with the panel and see what everyone has to say about Luna. But let's check in with Jerry. How are you today, sir? What have you been playing?
Oh, what's up, guys? I'm doing good. So interesting, this whole thing with Epic and Rocket League. I'm in the same boat. It kind of just refreshed everything for me. I saw it on there. I wanted the $10 coupon, downloaded it, and playing it on Geforce Now and on my PC again because I hadn't even set up my cross platform progression yet, which is a new feature, but it didn't just drop with that, but it is still fairly new. So I set all that up at the same time and just completely got me back into that game with the cross platform and with that whole Epic thing. And I can tell it's popular because the video I put out that I thought would be like, no one's going to watch it. Like people are commenting and like, yeah, Epic and Rocket League. It's just like, it feels like everybody's kind of been waiting for it. So that's pretty much what I've been playing.
That is awesome. It's pretty cool to see people hopping on Rocket League for sure. How about you, Duncan? How you been, sir? And what have you been playing?
I have been great this week. I haven't getting no abuse on Twitter at all. And I have been playing a range of games. I've actually been playing Stadia. I've just remembered I actually stuck in a load of hours in Destiny 2 in the build up to the next expansion coming out. And I've been playing a bit on the Xbox as well. But it's been an interesting week, and I can't actually wait to get stuck into the topics here tonight.
So you're a big Destiny guy, it sounds like. Every time we check in with you, it seems like that's a game that you keep kind of going back to. So you excited about all the new expansion coming?
Yeah, I'm not a big Destiny guy. I just go in and just shoot people. That's all I do. I don't worry about the story. I'm just running about just shooting people and doing a bit of dipping in and out. I wouldn't be able to tell you what the story is or what's going on. I'm just going in to enjoy things.
That's awesome. How about you, Chief? What you've been up to? What you've been playing lately?
I spent many hours dying over and over again, wondering who the hell was shooting me in Hell Let Loose. That game is brutal, man. Absolutely brutal. And yeah, obviously I had to go and claim my $10 free or £10 free on the Epic Games Store and hopped into Rocket League, and even my kids have had a go at Rocket League. You know, I didn't even know that they'd seen it on YouTube or anything, but as soon as they saw it on my screen, they're like, Rocket League, I gotta have a play of that. And it's like, damn, that's a hard game. I can see why it's an esport. It's very addictive, very fast paced. It's an awesome game, and for it to be free and as Mark said, to get paid to play it, and give you $10 credit, which is always handy on the Epic Games Store, because the last time I got Control with the £10 gift card, so I think I only ever paid 15 quid for Control, which is a nightmare because I wish I'd waited for the Ultimate Edition now, but never mind. And I keep dipping back into Avengers. I'm going to complete that campaign at some point, so yeah, I keep dipping back into Avengers.
What do you play in Avengers on?
Geforce Now.
Cool. Holt, sir, how are you? What have you been playing?
I'm great, but I've been consuming so much news on the gaming front this week, so I focused on the Flight Simulator 2020. So the news, I'm getting ready to prepare for the new patch in Japan, which is coming out on the 29th of September. So I've just been doing some challenges, ready to start flying over the beautiful cities of Sendai, Takamatsu, Tokushima, Tokyo, what's the other one? Yokohama, and there's one more, but it was on the Tokyo Game Show, so I thought to myself, I'll dive right in, relax, and consume some news.
Nice. So how does that game work? Do they just keep updating like locations and eventually, right?
Well, there's world patches. So on the Tokyo Game Show, they said that Japan's going to be the first one they're going to upgrade. So it's going to be 6 new cities, a few new challenges, and a few new airports around Japan. So I guess in a few months we'll see some new locations, and it's just going to be constantly patched all through the year.
Cool. That's awesome. All right, cool. So I haven't really been gaming much actually this week. I don't know why. I think, like Host was saying, I've just been too busy following the news, and again, just being content creator, trying to make content. You sometimes hardly have times to play games. But yeah, I'm excited though. I told Chief today, man, it is just so much fun things to talk about, and I think this podcast is going to be quite interesting. So to get started, we're going to look at Geforce Now to begin with. And again, 12 games was announced for Geforce Now this week. And some of the people on here has mentioned a big one, which is a game that was free on Epic Game Store. And again, you got played to pretty much claim this game. So you can't go wrong with this. And that game is Rocket League, right? And you have Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. You have Assassin's Creed, Chronicles India. You have the Sega 4-5, Left 4 Dead 2, Legend of Heroes, Tomb Raider, Portal Royale, and Pathologic 2. A lot of games. So I want to know for the people in this panel, what are your thoughts on the Geforce Now news? What are your thoughts on these games? Has anyone even played any of these games, or are you guys even looking forward to it? So to get started, we'll look at Holtz. What's your take on the Geforce Now news for the week?
Of course, the 2 games that I was looking forward to got skipped off the list. And of course, I'm going to say Disgaea 4 and 5, aren't I? They're just amazing games. They are tactical JRPGs that I'm really excited that came to Geforce Now, because there's a new one from the Tokyo Game Show that got announced, Disgaea 6. And with hope, so I'm starting to think, if these games are now coming to PC and then services like Game Pass and Geforce Now, I'm like, it's going to be a great thing to look next year and go, this game is going to come out for me. So I played them. I bought Disgaea 5 cheap, and I've been playing it on Geforce Now, even though I forgot I was only playing a few weeks on Game Pass. So I actually double dipped again.
What do you like about the? How do you say Disgaea? Right?
Disgaea. It's Disgaea. It's just, the characters are just so amazing. Epic storylines. You'll see characters that I've not really seen in games before, and every time I play a battle, there's just so much humor. I'm literally laughing myself to death. It's that funny, and it's so tactical. There's a bit of everything to suit, and each time a new Disgaea comes out, it's just, you think it can't get any better, but then there's more features, and it just I think it's an epic game.
That is awesome. haven't tried it, but yeah, you guys who are watching right now, give it a shot if you're into games like that. I would call it a Japanese RPG, or how would you?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's a tactical game. You move your characters around the grid. You've got spells, rolls, and stuff like that. So if you like tactical games, it'd be for you.
Cool, cool. How about you, Duncan? What are your thoughts on the Geforce Now news? Have you played any of these 12 games announced?
I haven't played any of the games announced, but the games I'm looking forward to will be boring here because everybody's going to mention it. Bar Holtz there, it's going to be Rocket League, and
Right.
it will. It's actually something old school. Just brings me back to a number of years ago, and it's Tomb Raider Underworld because I've played so far into that and I actually haven't completed it. So I think this might give me the kick up the butt to get it actually completed now.
Cool. And don't forget, for the people who are watching here, every week Epic has free games, right? And Rocket League was one of those free games where you can claim and use the free GeForce Now model to play those games. So you can literally play games for free with GeForce Now. But I want to check in with Ben. What are your thoughts on these 12 games coming to GeForce Now? Have you played any of them?
I'm excited to see them bring, bundles of games, groups of games every week, which is crazy considering the phase they went through back in March and April.
Right.
So they're just really picking up the pace. I grabbed Roller Coaster Tycoon and I grabbed Rocket League because they were free. Haven't played Roller Coaster Tycoon yet, but it looks like it would be something fun to play. I like the casual games, light and easy.
Cool. Mark, how about you, sir? These 12 games, have you played any, and what's your take on GeForce Now news?
I am the exact same as Ben, which sounds cheap. I went in and grabbed the free ones. So Rocket League is so easy to just jump back into. Like I haven't played that probably in over a year, and I've probably played about 15, 20 games of it in the last couple of days, and within that, like came out as like the top scorer in most of those matches. So I was like, well, I'm better than I remember, or everyone else is just new to this and they're pretty bad. But like almost perfecting the off the line first to the ball and then straight in the other team's goal without like nobody else has had a chance to move. Managed to pull that off multiple times. I was like, so that made me enjoy it a bit more. And Roller Coaster Tycoon, I said, if you're like a 90s kid, this is just like nostalgia for you. Like this was like one of my first PC games where we had it on a CD-ROM and like had it for years and years. And I'd always go back and reinstall it because it was just fun to mess around, like get all of your visitors into the park, then remove the exit and make them everyone unhappy because they can't leave, or like take away all the toilets and just see what happens. So yeah, both of those. Roller Coaster Tycoon I haven't jumped into yet, but I'll wait basically until I've got like a day where I've got nothing to do, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to sink like 10 hours of just mindless fun into that. And both of these I've been playing on Shadow.
Nice. Shadow GeForce Now.
I've been playing them on Shadow.
Okay. Cool.
But actually, the Rocket League is a really good one for phone. I've said there's only certain things I'll play on my phone. It needs to be a certain type of game. That is perfect. Things like Fall Guys is great on the phone, but that one would be like a key choice for on the phone in the Razer Kishi.
That's cool. Awesome. How about you, Chief? What are your thoughts on these 12 games? Have you played any?
Yeah, as I said before, I've been playing. Was it Rocket League?
Yeah.
And yeah, as Mark said, I grew up with Roller Coaster Tycoon, so I just had to go and purchase it. I probably will play it at some point, but it's going to sit on my shelf for some time. I think it's great that they've got 12 games. It's quite a jump from last week. I know they've been busy with RTX and stuff, but it does show that people are coming back to the platform. And I think this is the third week running that a game has returned to the platform that was originally removed. So it is good news that publishers are taking it a bit more serious, or as we've seen on Twitter, a lot of people complaining to publishers that it's not available on GeForce Now and them caving to that pressure and bringing the games back. So I think tides are finally shifting. And obviously, if you are watching this and a game that you want is not on GeForce Now, don't bug NVIDIA, go bug the publisher. It's all on them.
True. Cool. And you, Jerry, what's your take on the GeForce Now news, and what games have you been playing out of all 12?
So everybody has said it basically, but Chief was the last one to grab the one that I thought was interesting that I'm seeing on Twitter as well. The trend is changing quickly, that the army of people are diverting to publishers, and you can see it on their pages where they're like, "Wait a minute, stop yelling at Nvidia, nothing's happening. Let's run over here," and they start yelling over here, and then they get their game on there. And I've been telling people the same thing in comments and on Twitter: go yell at the publishers, tell them to click their little button and put it on there.
Yeah.
Of course, Rocket League, but I'll just speak to the way that the game plays on Geforce Now, because I'm huge into the latency and playing locally and all that kind of stuff. And I thought the experience on there was really good. And to echo what Mark was saying, that's a good game on the phone. I was playing it a bit on my phone as well, and it actually translates pretty well there. I can't play like a Call of Duty on my phone. It's horrible for me. But Rocket League was pretty good. And of course, same thing. I'm old, so Roller Coaster Tycoon. I played that stuff in the 90s as well, just like everybody else. I had all my consoles, but there were certain games back then you just couldn't play on a console, so I'd run over to the PC and spend freaking way too many hours on those games. But so all good news this week for Geforce Now. Again, a variety in the list, something for everybody. They keep bringing stuff back, and they've kept their promise, so I don't have any complaints for them. They keep on going. They're doing well.
True. Good point. It seems like Rocket League is that game that stood out for everyone for Geforce Now this week, and I myself played it too. And I do have to say, Mark, I don't know what it is, but there's this thing of when you haven't played that game for a long time, you go back and play, you become like a god. Like your skills are just so good, and then like it fades out after like second or third attempt. But that's how I was. So I went back and I was scoring goals that I was like, how the hell am I doing this? But yeah, that's a fun one, guys, and it's pretty cool to see what you guys are saying about people just changing their minds about GeForce Now and going back to the publishers and telling them, hey, bring your games to GeForce Now. Again, like we've been saying here, if you guys want your games to be in GeForce Now, if you guys want to play games that you've already purchased, make sure you go knocking at the publisher's door and making that request for them to bring it on GeForce Now. All right, so that's GeForce Now news. If I'm missing anything, people on the panel hop on. But we have so much to cover that I just want to keep moving forward. So we're going to get right into Google Stadia. Again, there's a lot to talk about here. To begin, a lot of games was announced for Stadia. I mean, I can go down the list and name some of them. We have Cake Bash. We have, I don't know how to say this, PHOGS, Fogs. Correct me if I'm wrong. We have Ari and the Secret Seasons. So many games. I believe they announced more than 5 games, right? Just want to know for you guys on this panel, with all these games announced for Stadia, these other Stadia news that we'll cover, but let's just talk about these games. Are you guys excited about these games coming to Google Stadia platforms? So we'll start.
Are these the Stadia Makers games?
Yes, these are all of the Stadia Makers games that was announced. And I'm seeing somewhere around 6, correct me if I'm wrong, probably it's more than that. But what are your thoughts about these games coming to Google Stadia, the Stadia Makers games? So we'll start off with you, Mark. What's your thoughts on these games coming to Stadia?
It's probably going to be nice and quick for me because I don't have any extensive thoughts, honestly. I know they're the Stadia Maker games, so they're purposely smaller studios and publishers. So they are more indie titles, which I'm fine with, and I'm down to support like a decent indie game. It's just none of these particularly caught my eye, really, other than weirdly out of that list, Cake Bash. I don't know why, but the rest just not really for me. Okay. I know they always try and obviously they're casting a wide net. They're trying to get like a little bit of content for everyone, something that everyone could enjoy. This time they missed me.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Holtz? What's your take on all these games that was announced for Stadia?
Oh, there's 3 games that I was looking forward to, and I'm glad you said it. I showed my niece and nephew, roughly the age of about 7, Fogs, and they were just laughing their head off of a 2-body dog. And I was looking at it thinking to myself, that is so fun. Good puzzle there. 2 people can play. And the ragdoll mechanics, like the physics of just rolling around and falling off edges, I'll be screaming in laughter with that game. And I also showed them Cake Bake. And with having different like tabletop styles and fighting pigeons and knocking fillings off cakes, I just thought that's a game I can just sort of have a Royal Rumble with the younger audience. So I'm glad really these games are coming, and I'm a big supporter for like indie titles. But
Yeah.
one game that I'm looking for is Ari and the Secret of the Seasons, because that game just looks good to me, and I like the idea of open platformer worlds where I can sort of go around to different areas with different mechanics. And it sort of reminds me of the same comedy and open world that you'd see in like Jack and Dexter. Because in Jack and
Ooh.
Dexter, he could use Mako and use like different elements of use, and they had like quirky sages. So when I see the Guardians in this, and they're all quirky old and this like youthful character, I thought I really want to play that. It looks really good.
Good. Well, I'm glad that these games interest you. I was curious to see like who from the panel is gonna like these these games. I'm glad that again you like them. How about you, Duncan? What's your take on these games coming to Stadia?
I'm going to wear two hats here. Duncan the Gamer, I would play two of them, and it's the two Code Sync games, the Cake Bash and Frogs. I think they're going to be a good laugh. Problem with Cake Bash, it's a multiplayer game, and it's not a pro game. So, audience, and it's going to be down to price. And I hate signing up for indie games, and again, because of Stadia, the way they've got us trained, what we're going to say, there are going to be pro games sometime down the line. So then it puts you off buying them. Duncan, the bigger picture, when did they drop these game? They dropped it like an hour or two after the Bethesda deal, which Microsoft did, and you're going, oh my god, are you guys for real? So me as a gamer, I would play a couple of these games, but I wouldn't buy them because we know they're going to be a pro game at some stage, and the actual strategy and marketing and everything, yikes.
True. How about you, Ben? What's your take on these games that are coming to Google Stadia?
I mean, like Duncan said, I mean, if it's not pro, I'm probably not going to get him. But Cake Bash and Fogs are the only ones that actually grabbed my attention at all. I think they'd be fun to play with my daughter. You know, trying to get her into video games. She's only 4, so it's a younger audience thing for me. Anything I can get to play with her, that's great. But I'm not going to spend money on it. I'm going to go for free or cheap. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Jared? What's your take on these games coming to Stadia?
For me, there's nothing really here that I'm going to be excited about as far as the games that they're releasing. But just like Mark said, I have no issue with the indie games, the Stadia Maker games coming, fun party games for all kinds of audience. We all want to play those with our kids and stuff, but we're also going to be willing to wait for them to hit pro because it's not a game like Valhalla or something that we want to play day one because 2 months later we feel like we missed out. So, and also things like this for me just keep showing the cracks in Stadia's business model more and more. When you have things like Game Pass, Luna's business model that we'll talk about later, I won't get into that, and all that, it's just showing I'm going to pay $10 a month plus keep buying all these games, but I'm looking around at all these announcements and all the things these other companies are doing, and the business model for me just not working. So, but nothing I can be super excited about, but I'm super happy to see games coming because I need them.
Sure, good point. How about you, Chief? What's your take on these games coming to the Google Stadia platform?
It's been said several times, and it's if it ain't pro, I'm probably not going to bother looking. I'm paying that £9 a month. I'm not going to buy a little indie game that's going to be free in a week or two, or a month or two, or I don't care when it's free. I might try it then. You know, personally, it's good that Stadia is getting games, but I'd rather that they were other games. And there's nothing that I can... I haven't played Stadia for quite a while because there's just nothing there anymore because of other services to entice me back. I really want Stadia to succeed. It works brilliantly, but the games just aren't there for me. With other services, Game Pass, Uplay Plus, you know, I can play those games for a subscription on multiple other places. I'm not going to buy it again on Stadia. And I've been holding out for Uplay Plus on Stadia. I'm really concerned that that's not going to happen anymore because of other announcements that we're going to come on to. And I'm wondering whether that's why it's been delayed so much. Have they had another battle on their hands that we didn't know about? Or obviously we know about it quite publicly now. But where is it? Coming in 2020. Time's running out.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I think the main issue here is contrast for this week. We've had a massive news week, and then Stadia's over here going, "We've got Cake Bash.
Yeah,
come try Cake." By comparison, it's not looking great.
No, that's a great point, Mark, and I think you guys in the panel covered it. For me personally, something I've been doing a lot lately is gaming with my daughter. So when I saw these games, I was like, great, these are more games that we can play together as a family. But then you look at what Xbox announced with Game Pass, it's like, all right, so they're getting Doom, they're getting Dishonored, they're getting Rage, and we're getting Cake Bash. I think you guys have all covered that on here. And like I think if Stadia has any heavy hitters, any big guns, any announcements, now is the time to start making them, right? Because your competitors are out here swinging, right? Microsoft is they throwing punches. Amazon is throwing punches. These little like indie titles coming, they're not going to knock your opponents out. So again, I just think the timing of this, if they would have announced this, say the Connect that they had, I think that would have been better. But again, timing for this, right? Especially like going into the holiday season with next gen coming too. We need more than these cute games, but it's fun. I'm not gonna complain. All right, so that's that for those games. Anyone else just hop on in the panel and talk about this if I'm missing anything. But I do want to talk about another game that released this week on Google Stadia, and that was Series Sam 4. Just wanted to know, were you guys excited for that game? Did any of you guys pick it up? And if so, how was the experience with Series Sam 4 on Google Stadia? So to start, let's check in with you, Ben. Did you pick up Series Sam, or are you excited for it?
I tried playing a couple of the previous gen ones when they were bundled in with Pro, and it was just not my type of game. So I was just not excited for it at all. I was like, I know that there's a big cult following for it, and that's great that they're bringing it, but they got to do more.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Duncan? What's your take on Series Sam 4? Did you play it?
No, I have not played it as yet. I'm hoping to get it in the next couple of days or so. However, the videos, I'm not sure if anybody has seen any of the performance videos of Serious Sam on Stadia.
Yes.
Okay. Looks like it needs a bit of work. Would be the nice way of putting it. It looks a bit of a mess, and it needs some more time. It looks like it probably needed a delay in Stadia at the very least to get these issues fixed. There seems to be a lot of pop-in. It's all frame rates all over the place, and some people are saying close to unplayable. So I think they will get it right, but it's not looking great on Stadia.
As of right now, yeah, sure. How about you, Jerry? What's your take on Series Sam? Did you play it? Did you pick it up? Are you excited for the franchise?
I didn't grab it. I saw the performance videos that are coming out as well. I was about to pull the trigger and buy it and do some kind of gameplay video, and I just decided not to. I'm not going to spend $40 to make a video complaining about how bad it runs. I did that. I spent $80 on Avengers and wound up, instead of making a fun 4K gameplay video, I made a video about how that game ran so horribly, but that I knew it would get better in the future with patches. But the problem is, when you're Stadia and you need these games to work day one, you can't have these kind of issues. And like everybody else said, with the news being so big this week and with all the excitement going on everywhere else, don't put a game out like Series Sam 4 that's going to run like that. If you knew that already, if it wasn't ready, delay it and put it out later, because it just looks bad. And again, bad planning, no loyalty, blah, blah, blah. Same thing.
Right. How about you, Mark? What's your take on Series M4? Did you pick it up, or are you excited for the franchise?
No, yeah, it's not one that, again, I played the ones that got bundled in with Pro before, dabbled in them for a little bit, and then I was like, it's not quite for me. I think we've talked about this before on the podcast. The price of it, $39.99, it's like a weird, it's almost a bit too much for a title where it's got this kind of cult following, but it's not a AAA title, and that's close to your AAA price tag. I think honestly, for the people who wanted to check this out, I wasn't aware of the performance issues, but for the people who really wanted to play this, obviously it's timed exclusive, but you can get it on PC and Stadia. You just can't get it on console till next year.
Yeah.
So anyone who wanted to play it is just going to get it on Steam.
Yeah. Is it on Epic as well, or just Steam?
I was just having a quick Google. I could only see it on Steam.
I was
Yeah, it's
gonna
not
say
on Epic.
okay. I was gonna say y'all can use your $10 voucher, but anyway, just keep.
It'd be a great move for Epic to just make that free. Just do one of the, like they did with Troy War Saga. Just do that, like 24 hours, grab it free. If you don't, you missed out.
Right.
And playable on Geforce Now.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
True. How about you, Chief? Have you picked up Series Sam 4, and what's your take on the franchise?
No, it's a bit of a weird one for me because it kind of reminds me of a poor Duke Nukem port. If you've ever had those franchise, I loved the Duke Nukem one back in the day, so it's got that similar kind of humor, but it doesn't quite hit the mark for me. And I played Doom Eternal, so looking at the graphics and gameplay of Serious Sam just makes me want to puke. So I think, after playing Doom Eternal, unless it's on par with 4K gameplay for a fast shooter, I'm not going to be picking up anything else like it anytime soon, I don't think.
Okay. How about
and seeing your video of Serious Sam 4 just confirmed that.
I'll get to them. How about you, Holtz? What's your take on Series Sam 4?
No, I totally agree with Chief. I was going to say something similar, but to me, I was very excited for Serious Sam 1 and 2, but I never really invested time. It was a game that I pushed aside, and I knew Serious Sam 3 was coming, and we mentioned this in the podcast. I'm in that frame of mind that I'm like, Stadia Pro in 3 months. It's all what it is. And when it even comes a Pro, I might not even click it. So.
Gosh. Oh, wow. So I personally tried. I made a video on it, and that's a game I really want to like. Again, I'm at a place right now where I'm having a lot of sympathy for Google Stadia. I want it to succeed. I invested in the founders, so I want this to succeed. So any game that comes out, I want to support it. Picked up the Avengers, picked this up, and I wanted to like this game. And you guys saw with the video, the opening scene was incredible. It was like a big open war, and then everything after that, the game just looked terrible, it ran terrible, and it's not a game that I can recommend to people. But it's kind of a bummer because again, we look at the moves that Google Stadia are making with partner up with companies and getting games to the platform. This was, a big one that they hyped up, they showed, and it's just like, invest money elsewhere and get stuff that really is going to impact your platform and make a difference. This was not like a game to invest all that money in to get a little time exclusive in. Anyway, Stadia PR, I think we've talked about this multiple times, so I don't want to get into that. But that's all I have to say with Serious Sam. Again, people on the panel, you guys can hop on if there's still more that you want to say with that.
Yeah, well, there's one good move Stadia made this week, and it wasn't even them, it was the developer, was Baldur's Gate getting pushed back a little bit longer.
I saw that.
So at least they're acknowledging that it's not ready yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you look on Twitter, it looked like Stadia didn't even know that was happening until Baldur's Gate announced it.
It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Stadia only announced Stadia Sam was available yesterday as well. They announced it on Tuesday that it was available now, and then they just tweeted yesterday that it was available. It's a horrible, horrible mess over there. And again, it looks like I hate on Stadia all the time. I have shared other things which I have discovered. I've shared something here in our Discord earlier in the week, which Stadia did as well. I don't go on to hate Stadia. I want Stadia to succeed, but they just make mistake after mistake after mistake, and you don't even actually see half of the mistakes they make because we don't always share them all.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane, and we talk about it here a lot with Stadia and the PR and how they just keep shooting themselves in the foot. And we want Stadia to succeed. We can't stress that enough. But things like this is just like it doesn't make sense. But again, we're gonna move on. Anyone else want to say anything about Serious Sam? Ben, I do think you're right with the delay of Baldur's Gate. It's probably a good thing, but at the same time, I'm a little nervous now because the fact that they're delaying it shows that the game might not be ready. But again, we'll see in about a week's time. But so much to talk about when it comes to Elder Scrolls. I'm just going to ask the people on the panel. We have Greymoor sale that starts September 22nd till October 5th. It's 50% off. Just want to know anyone on here still playing Elder Scrolls on Google Stadia. And I'm seeing a lot of head shaking.
I want
Oh,
to, but
okay.
that's just like a time issue. It's such a big time sink, and I've got, I'm more invested in Avengers than I am the Elder Scrolls Online at the moment. Every time I see stuff happening, I do want to hop back into it. They've got this big event, they've got all this nice content coming, but it's a long-term game. It's one of those games that it's the only game you're going to play,
Yeah.
and I just don't have time to just focus on one game full time, unfortunately.
Being
I
a
agree.
you go
I
ahead.
agree. I agree with Chief. The three main games that grab my attention on Stadia that I keep coming back to: Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Marvel's Avengers, and Ghost Recon. Just because it's fun to play with a bunch of people.
That's awesome. So, do you have people to play Ghost Recon with, Ben? On
Yeah, there's
Stadia?
an entire server on Discord that is very active, and
Stop.
anytime you need a game, you just message people, and you have 8 people within
No
minutes.
way.
Like it's you got a fun game, and you can play for a few hours.
Dude, you got to send me that. I've been looking for people to play that game with. That's awesome. Cool.
Oh yeah.
Cool. All right. So again, that's it. It looks like a lot of people here are just not having the time to invest with Elder Scrolls, right? So, but just want to let the people who are watching know there's a sale for Greymoor going on. This September 22nd to October 5th, 50% off. All right, so we're gonna move. Go ahead.
Just a bit of trolling here, and that's from our friends at Bethesda. That is in the blog post, and that.
What? Wait, say that again, Duncan. I don't think they caught it.
In the blog post, it said from our friends at Bethesda, we are happy to bring this.
If you guys don't know it, Bethesda was just acquired by Microsoft. So it's like, yeah, okay. Got that. But let's move into another game. And again, this is one of the games that Google used to, showcase Stadia, highly anticipated. And that game is Crata. So you guys know there's a new update coming. It says sci-fi content lands in Crata tomorrow, which is Wednesday the 23rd. Haven't really hopped into Crata since the game launched. But again, just want to ask you guys in panel, are you guys excited about this Orbit update, right? It should be taking created space. And have you guys tried this update? So we'll get started with Holtz. Where are you at with Crata? Are you even still playing?
To be fair, I've moved on from Crata, but I like the idea of sci-fi. So if someone can actually design some like alien chasers or space orbits or something like that, I might actually jump back in and have a look. But it's like a pick and mix. Sometimes you play a game and go, oh, waste of time, and sometimes you do find hidden gems, but until other people can find them hidden gems, I don't think I've got the time to dive in and find the games myself.
Right. True. Good point. How about you, Jerry? What's your take on Crata and the new update in the Orbit?
Yeah, I'm complete with Holtz on that because I checked out Crata and we've covered it here quite a bit. I'm not going to get into the fact that it's just, to me, it just wasn't very good when it came out. It's a game that will have a following. It will have a group of people that like to make content on there and people that like to play it. And I agree, sci-fi for me is a big pull. If people make some pretty cool games on there, I'll load it up and go check them out. But I'm not going to be able to have time to go through every single one
Right.
and figure out what's good. So am I super excited about it? No. But if I hear about a really cool game on there, I'll definitely be one of the people that goes in and gives it another shot and checks it out.
Cool. How about you, Ben? What's your take on this Crata update?
I mean, I'm a big sci-fi nerd, so in anything space related, it makes me a little excited. But my hope for it, just after seeing everything that's happened to Crata, it's just gonna crater, in my opinion.
See what you did there.
Good one.
Yep.
How about you, Mark? What's your take on this Crata update?
I didn't even know Creator was still doing stuff. But I think we've said before, for Stadia, this was their PlayStation dreams. This was that platform that would allow people to go in and do creative stuff for game creation that was borderline coding, but easier and more user-friendly to get in with. And Dreams, people are still doing some amazing stuff. I still follow a guy who's doing a complete end-to-end full game of Avatar Last Airbender, all built in Dreams, and that's got like a massive following. Like IGN have covered it, and those are the types of things you can do in Dreams. And I'm just not hearing any of people building stuff like that in Crata. I could be proven wrong. Like, I guess it doesn't need to be a AAA amazing game to get attention these days. I mean, this week I've been playing a lot of Among Us, which honestly looks like you could play it on like Miniclip. It's like a web app. It doesn't need to be a spectacular looking game to be big and draw attention. So I could be proven wrong. I'm hoping so. But yeah, like I said, wasn't aware they were still
Chief,
trying.
what's your take on this Crata update, man?
I think it's great that creators definitely putting out new content, not just pitching their competitions and pushing creators to make stuff, but actually giving whole new tools to make new games, different games. So I think it means that they've got the backing, they've got a longer term strategy, and I'll liken it to Roblox. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be AAA graphics to get those followers. And I think if my kids still hop into Roblox, there are hundreds, thousands of games on there, and they're all full of players. So I think that if they get it right and if they keep marketing Creator the way it is, they will probably get a lot of those casual gamers just hopping in and out of games. And hopefully it'll work a little bit better than Roblox and not crash every 5 minutes. So you can hope that they'll get that following. But you saw the maps and stuff that I made previously. It does take a lot of time and investment into those. So if they keep those competitions up, those monthly creator competitions, they will definitely keep those new games coming. But if that budget runs out, I'm afraid that probably a lot of people will just jump ship.
Yeah, so true. How about you, Duncan? What's your take on this Crata update coming to Stadia?
Crata and Stadia just go hand in hand. There's so much potential, but also unfulfilled. And that's my take on Crata. I said this when Crata came out, and again I got a load of stick off it, and unfortunately it seems to be panning out that way. It's just so much potential, and it's just waiting for people to actually fulfill it. And again, it's just like Stadia. It's that's my take on it. More content, more options for people. That's going to be brilliant. But hopefully people are still going to stick around and do it. And when you see the people who win the monthly competitions, it seems to be the same old faces winning it. It's just the same ones. And they actually need more people in the community going in and actually playing it.
Tell me, those people are raking in cash, though. Must say. I mean, geez. But I agree. Crata is another game that's a missed opportunity for sure. And again, this was one of Google's golden child when it came to game that they were promoting. I still think this game will benefit from being free. I still can't believe there's a price tag for this game. I think if they offer this game for free for the free base stadium members, I mean this game can seriously take off. And if it's not taking off, it's something the creators I know that watch the channel should look into. They are awesome people, so I want this game to succeed for their sake because they put a lot of time, invest a lot of time into this game, and they want it to succeed. But it's just Stadia is not where it should be, and the amount of people they're looking to join, I don't think is there yet. Of this being just a pro membership and having a price tag. Anyway, just gonna move away from Critic, and you guys hop on if there's anything else you want to say. But just a lot of sales again going on for Google Stadia. I so much I don't want to list all of them, but just some that stand out here is Assassin's Creed Odyssey for $30, Borderlands 330. Let's see, Darkside Genesis still on sale. Tomb Raider's Red Dead Redemption is on sale, right? The same 40 USD. So any of these games stand out to you guys? Did you pick up any of these games on sale? To get started, let's look at you, Jerry.
So the issue is, I think that most people on Stadia have already gone through these sales all year and bought what they're going to buy. We're getting to a point here towards the end of the year that we've all seen these sales. So yeah, there's a lot of great games on sale right now on Stadia, and Borderlands, Trials Rising is another good one that I keep mentioning. Red Dead, all that stuff are good prices. But there's no real hype behind it because we've all talked about these same sales over and over again, just because the library is only so big and you can only have so many games in the sale each time. So I think a lot of people is just already saturated buying these sales up. There's just not a lot new to happen, especially when you compare it to sales elsewhere on like Steam and stuff like that. It's just it just starts feeling like you're looking at the same list over and over again. So nothing that I can say is exciting, but if you're new to Stadia or you just really have been holding off on a lot of these games, there's definitely some good deals in there, but it just feels like the same to those of us who have been there since the beginning.
True. How about you, Mark? What's your take on these sales for Stadia? Did you pick any of these games up?
I didn't. The only one that catches my eye is maybe Red Dead 2, just because I never finished it, so I'm not opposed to picking up on another platform. 40 isn't a bad price for it. Other than that, same as Jerry, and I think we've said it, week after week, the list doesn't change that much, and it's going to be impossible for them to do. It's a finite list. There's only so many times you can put it in a different order before people are like, I've seen this list before, and that's just where we're at the moment.
Right. How about you, Holtz? What's your take on these sales? Are you going to pick up any of these?
No, I already own them, and I've said I would recommend all these games to people that are new to Stadia and haven't played these games, of course, but I want the prices to drop a little bit more faster, 75% off, because these games are getting quite outdated. I mean, why would you play Odyssey when Valhalla's coming out round the corner? I'd rather just put my money towards Valhalla. But I'm getting very bored seeing the same things again, and there's a few games that I've seen through the Stadia list that I want to go on sale, and I bet money that in a few weeks I could say the sale list again. It's coming like a total 100% prediction on my behalf, so I just want them to spice it up a little bit and change maybe the percentage or add a few more games.
Okay. How about you, Duncan? What's your take on these sales?
Yeah, the one game, if you're going to say what game should you get on Stadia, and I think it's just off this list because it was, again, not advertised by Stadia, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, is The Division 2. £3.74. Probably $5, I'm guessing, for The Division 2 with it being on the free weekend. That is a steal at that price. So all the other games, like everybody's been saying, you can name them every week, but The Division 2, for the price there, it's up there. I would recommend that.
True. And again, since it was brought up, to bring up, if you guys weren't aware, The Division 2 is free to play for Stadia this weekend for your pro member, right? Started, I believe, on Thursday and since Sunday. So again, we talked about this on this podcast, right? They should put games that highlight Stadia's best features as a free-to-play game. And we talked about The Division 2 would be a good game to put. And so it's really cool to see that is the game that it shows for this week's free game. But we're gonna just cover that in a little bit. But since Duncan brought it up, just wanted to say about it. But Chief, what's your take on these sales? Did you pick up any of these games?
No, I'm beginning to see these sales as a running joke, to be honest. There's, sales are supposed to be sales, not every week there is a sale. It's like those stores that you see closing down that are always closing down. They never actually shut. So to me, the Stadia game sales is just like this week's discounts. It's there's going to be games on sale. It's almost becoming like the pro games. I'm going to wait for it to come on pro or come on sale.
That's a good point. Good point. All right. So again, those are Stadia sales. Go ahead, Ben.
Well, one thing I was just thinking of that they never do, that they should do, is if they want to change up these sales, is they need to put the pro games on sale for free people. Because there are a couple games like Hitman that people will want to play, but they're probably never going to put it on sale because it's a pro game. Grid finally went on sale. That's on there. What, $10, I think. I just canceled my pro subscription. That's the only reason why that came to mind. I'd buy Grid. But yeah, it's the only game that I hadn't picked up on the recurring sales list is Ghost Recon.
I survived the Stadia sale.
I survived the Stadia sale. That's crazy. So, Ben, just want to know if you don't mind sharing with the panel. You talked about just canceling your Stadia Pro membership. Why? What are you looking into with that?
So Stadia is still going to be my main platform. Any games I buy, I'm probably going to buy on Stadia if they're full price. I'm probably going to buy Valhalla on there unless it's free on Game Pass, like people keep rumoring. I decided to switch to Game Pass just because it's a better value proposition with what they have. I know Jerry complains about the resolution, which I agree, it kind of sucks. But the value of the games and stuff and the gameplay, that's really what I'm interested in, and that's kind of why I kind of decided to put my pro subscription on hold, at least until they kind of work some of the kinks out. I'm still, it's my main platform. I'm still playing, the handful of games that I always play on there. I'm still going to be playing on there. It's just, the pro games aren't holding me. It's not doing it for me.
Okay. So hopefully this week, we should be hearing about October's pro games coming soon this week. So hopefully they, let you.
That might change my mind. It might make me change my cancellation, but we'll see.
Okay. Cool. All right. So that's the last Stadia news I want to cover. Again, we have still 2 more big platform news to talk about. So I'm going to try and be quick with this. Is Stadia is officially coming to Best Buy. What's your take on that for the people in the panel? I know we've kind of talked about this should have been a thing that happened day one with the launch of Stadia, but the fact that the holiday season's coming now, next gen is coming, and you can actually go to Best Buy and pick this up. I have a lot to say, but I want to hear from the people in this panel. So, Duncan, what's your take on Stadia finally coming to a retail Best Buy?
Interesting timing. Very interesting timing. What day did they put it out on? Xbox pre-order day. And also, is there some sort of event happening next week? Would that be this long-rumored Sabrina being coming, which is going to be the savior of Stadia going forward? And they're just putting it into Best Buy. Just really, I just do not know what's going on there at all. It's brilliant that it's going there. You'll be able to pick it up, but again, timing. I just don't understand what is going on. Are they just trying to dump the units and trying to get rid of them, or do they not have faith in it? Sabrina's not actually going to work for Stadia. This actually raises a lot of questions, and I know with the rumors going about it, I'm not sure. We're touching on that later. Yes,
We will. Yeah. Next, right after this. Yeah.
Yeah, but we won't go any further on that.
Okay. Mark, what's your take on Stadia coming to Best Buy?
Yeah, no. Again, no particular opinion. It is just suspicious with the timing. With what the other things you'll be able to pick up in retailers this holiday. We need some kind of presence just so that we try and stay in the game. Because although there's hardware involved, we're now competing with this brand new hardware. Let's get our hardware in front of people instead of just on the Google Store.
Yeah. All right, Ben, what's your take on Stadia coming to Best Buy?
I agree the timing, but yeah, it's to me. I think it would have been a better move for them to target Target and Walmart.
Boom. Thank you. All right.
Get more of the family base instead of the tech nerds that are going to be in Best Buy to buy something technical, or some gadget. If you're in Walmart and Target and you see that, you're more likely to try it out. Grab it for your kids, grab it for your family.
Right.
To me, that seems like it would have been a better deal.
Yeah. Good point with that. How about you, Jared? What's your take on Stadia to Best Buy?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with everything everybody said so far. And Ben said the first thing I was going to say, which is why that particular retailer and only that retailer, especially this year, this fall, the worst time for them to try it. I mean, Best Buy is deep into RTX 3000. They're deep into PS5, Xbox Series X. I know I haven't slept. I feel like I haven't slept in 2 weeks because of getting pre-orders and stuff and just sitting on my computer hitting refresh for 5 hours straight the other night and getting pre-orders. It's insane. And the hype is insane. So I'm like, I don't really get it, but at the same time, I don't want to complain because we sit here and say they need to put a deal in store for people to buy, and then they do it, and we're like, why that store? I guess so you got to be careful what you ask for and what you get and what you complain about. But yeah, putting in that store is not great, but I'm glad to see it going there. I could see a lot of little kids going to wake up on Christmas morning and be like, oh, I want a PS5, and they got a Chromecast Ultra or whatever. But you never know what's going to happen. But I agree with Ben. I would have liked to seen that in other retailers that are more budget and family friendly, and they're not the tech heads that want to go spend $1,000 anyways. But
right. How about you, host? What's your take on this?
Like I said, I agree with everything, but it's great to get more eyes. But in my mind, I don't trust Google marketing. I can see someone in Google marketing going, oops, maybe we should have told Best Buy not to put it on the furthest lowest shelf. Can
I say something about that?
Yeah.
They actually did have it at my Best Buy low shelf.
Yeah,
they were so close to selling it to me until the manager stepped in. But it was out there for someone to just pick up and buy. And people already on Reddit got it from Walmart already. Wait, we talking about? Sorry, my bad. We talking about something else. My bad.
No, I was saying that,
that.
I can see Google marketing, saying to Best Buy. They're not saying put it at the front of the store so people can see it. Don't put it next to PlayStation 5. They're going to say, oops, we should have told them not to put it on the lowest furthest shelf away from customers. Right. So even though it's in Best Buy, I think it's going to be in a hidden corner somewhere.
Right. Would not surprise me, honestly speaking. All right, let's get to Chief, and then we'll get to Sabrina.
What's Best Buy?
Oh, boy.
It's like game, isn't it? Isn't it like our game?
Oh, man.
Best Buy is like Maplin, isn't it? Didn't they go out of business? Yeah. See, not real big news for me because Best Buy doesn't exist here. So great. Stadia's in another store that we can't buy it in. So it's a really weird deal from my perspective. We were all hyped about a new dongle. I don't know if we're covering that.
Yeah, it's right after this one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Segue us, Chief. Segue us in.
Now, if they were going to sell something in a store bundled with Stadia, you would think that it would be a new Android TV dongle. Chromecast Ultra. I'm sure they said that they were going to support Chromecasts before, and then that never happened, and they kind of went, oh, no, we meant the non-Stadia specific Chromecast Ultras. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot to everybody who obviously had a Chromecast and then can't be asked to upgrade to an Ultra.
Right.
So if they've done the same thing with Sabrina's and gone, oh yeah, sorry, we forgot to put the chip in that actually plays Stadia, that's going to be in the Sabrina Plus model in however many times. So
Yeah.
I think it's a real bad move, and just another move for one division in Google, forgetting that another one exists and not really doing anything about it.
Yeah.
And then it's just a, oops, oh well, we'll do better next time.
Yeah. So, which brings me to the next segment. I think we've all talked about this, and that is Sabrina, right? If you guys don't know what that is, it's the new Chromecast Android TV dongle that should be officially unveiled or announced this week at Google's hardware reveal event. So there's some people on Reddit who have actually unboxed this, right? And I posted on Reddit as well. Something that we're seeing is that Stadia is not supported, and this is another one of those PR moves that just makes you scratch your head if that's actually true. And I think it might be true because I followed multiple people who've confirmed the same thing. Stadia is not supported on the new Android TV dongle or Chromecast Sabrina dongle, right? So just want to talk to the people in the panel and just get your take on that. To get started, what do you have to say about that, Holtz?
Well, Sabrina didn't really interest me anyway because I don't really need something like with a controller or a user interface. I'm quite happy with my Chromecast Ultra. But if they push Stadia and said it won't be accessible through Chromecast anymore, I guess I'll have no choice but to buy Sabrina. I like the idea of the price. I like the idea of the form factor. But with not having Stadia on it makes me question, do I want to move forward with that device?
Right.
With Sabrina, I was expecting an Android TV dongle that I could install cloud clients on. That's what I wanted it for.
Yeah.
And if it can't even support its own client, it's up from its own company, then I'm like, what's the chances of anything else coming to it?
Yeah. Good point. Duncan, what's your take on this?
There has been a lot of talk about Sabrina coming, and this is going to be the savior of Stadia. But all indications so far, it doesn't appear that way. I believe Stadia will be going on to it. I think it just hasn't been activated yet. It's a matter of time thing. I think it's the app just isn't ready yet, and they're going to push it out later. But there's just a lot of question marks over it. But we're a couple of days away from it. I think we have to wait to see what the bigger plans are. But no Ethernet, when they've been really pushing the Ethernet for Stadia. We'll have to see about the Bluetooth support for controllers as well, because this could really showcase Stadia in possibly a bad way, because you're going to add in the extra jumps there.
Yeah. Okay. Again, sounds like a missed opportunity, but want to check in with Ben. What's your take on this news?
I was a little more geeked out about Android 11 than some of this, just because Android 11 coming to Android TV. One of the big things they highlighted was enhanced gamepad support, but they were really vague about what that meant.
Yeah.
So of course, me as someone that plays a lot of Stadia thinks, hey, what if they're building in support for Wi-Fi based controllers as opposed to just Bluetooth controllers? That would be awesome.
Yeah.
We don't know. As far as Sabrina, it is a little disappointing to see all these people saying that it's not coming day one. My personal thoughts on that is I think they're waiting for the chat and messages section to pop up in the app.
Why would they wait for that?
Because I think they're just going to do a feature dump, and then once they do their feature dump, it'll be ready. There's just a few like if you play on the app on Android TV side loaded, it's not that it's buggy, but it feels like it's lacking a lot. And I feel like once they dump those features, it'll be ready.
Interesting. Okay. Got to keep our eye out and for that one for sure to see if that happens, right? So, Mark, what's your take on this?
We'd definitely be interesting to see whether or not it does support Stadia, because I mean, at this stage in the game, they just need to be doing everything possible to get it in as many hands as possible and make it as accessible as possible.
Right.
You know, to get that player base there. And it's just like shooting yourself in the foot. Like if they can't even have it on their own hardware, you know, we've already talked in the past how you know, how they're not supporting it on their own operating systems for tvOS. Like Ben said, you've got to sideload it on, and even then it's a little bit sketchy. Like, they're not supporting the things which they have full control over, and it just baffles me that they're not giving themselves the best chance.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Again, you think this would be a no-brainer, right? Google makes Android TV, they make Chromecast, they make Stadia. Why not just get it all working together? But anyway, Jerry, what's your take on this?
Yeah, like Duncan was saying, it'll be there. I'm sure it'll get updated by the time the actual release. I'm sure it will be there. The only thing that made me wonder that it might not be was the whole Ethernet situation, because they harped on that so much before. Now, my Chromecast Ultra is not hooked up to Ethernet. It does Wi-Fi, and I do 4K HDR with no problem 99% of the time with that. So for me, that's not a big issue, but for a lot of people, it is. So I was just kind of taken back by, like, okay, if there's no Ethernet and the Stadia is not working right now, it is a bit concerning. But I just have to give them the benefit of the doubt and pray that they wouldn't be that stupid. Because it would be one of the stupidest moves they've made this year, along with everything else with Stadia.
Yeah.
If it really winds up not being supported on there, wow, what a waste. Sabrina would just be a waste.
Yeah. So what's surprising to me, and Chief, we're going to get to you in a bit, but what's surprising to me is the fact that they just officially confirmed that, you know, Stadia is coming to retail, it's coming to Best Buy. So are they going to, you telling me they're going to bundle, still have the same bundle where they're pushing the old Chromecast and they have a new product out, right? Like, why not just make a new bundle with your new product? Because again, are they going to just have that same old Chromecast still in the market? That wouldn't be cool if they're trying to push out new products. So just bundle your new product and push it together. That is logic. It makes sense, right? Again, tell me I'm crazy on here, but Chief, just
You're
want to hear.
crazy.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, see, you're saying that you're
man.
hoping that Stadia don't make the stupidest move of the year. I think, given the run up to the events that have occurred over the last couple of weeks, they are fully lined up to make the stupidest move of the year. And I think the Best Buy deal, or them putting the Chromecast Ultra Stadia bundle into Best Buy, actually confirms the fact that it's not going to be supported on Sabrina, because exactly that. Why would you put two products that do exactly the same thing, one cheaper than your premium product, on the shelf to say they do the same thing? And it's really sad to see, because, you know, I've sideloaded the Android TV app for Stadia on the Shield TV, and I can't play. It just crashes. It seems to load, and then it will crash, and then it lets you get a bit further, and then it crashes. So it's really unstable. There was news that certain version supported Android TV. Again, didn't really work for me, so it might be specific versions or something like that. But it's really sad to see the Stadia app not work on Android TV. And with Android 11 coming, you hope that that's going to be better. And I really hoped, you know, that Sabrina would cause me to ditch my Chromecast Ultra, because it would be like, oh, I can upgrade, I can play Stadia, I've got full Android TV. Oh, wait, I don't. So why would I get rid of a Chromecast Ultra to play or to buy a Sabrina dongle if I've now got to have them both? One that has Android TV and one to play. I haven't got enough HDMI ports on my TV as it is, with, you know, TV, Shield, you know, Sky. You know, it just adds up, you know. And a 4, 5, 6 port HDMI TV is into the thousands of pounds. Beyond 2 HDMI ports, you're kind of screwed. So this is a real bad move from Google on my back.
Yeah. By the way, when Holtz was talking in the previous segment, I said this was actually at Best Buy, and it was there for someone to pick up, but you know, the man just kind of stopped me. I was going to pick it up to see if I can do an unboxing on it, but the man just stopped me. But it was there again. It's just I don't know, man. Google. That's all I have to say, man. All right, we're gonna move.
The best move Google can do right now is on the Google Store, change it, include Sabrina and controller for the same price. And then that way the retailer will be, or Best Buy will be forced to replace what's on the shelf without having to change too many SKUs.
Yeah, I it's like who's running Google, man? I think they just need to come to this podcast and we just need to have a conversation with them. That's all I'm asking. It's just little things like this, and people wonder, why we're so hard on them. I mean, my daughter can probably figure this out. It's just I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's all just a test to see if an AI can run a division. The answer is no.
Hey, right?
Just
Alright,
feels
so
like they're not listening.
yeah, seriously. And that's why, we come on here and we say kudos to Geforce Now because I feel like, they released and got a lot of flack, but you see the change that they're making, they're listening, right? That's all like we we want out of these companies to just improve and get better. Alright, so we go ahead. Someone's gonna say something.
I was going to say it's a great point. It shows that you can come back
Yeah.
from bad PR
Right.
and bad marketing or just a bad move like GeForce Now did when they lost that
Yeah.
huge chunk of games and then have
Oh,
come
yeah.
back, and week after
Oh, yeah.
week we're praising them. You can come
Absolutely.
back from this stuff. You just need to
Absolutely.
try harder than
Absolutely.
this.
All right, so this is exciting because we have a new challenge in the cloud gaming space, right? So I'm sure you guys have watched videos and heard about Amazon Luna, right? So it's not Project what was it? Project Tempo, right?
Tempo.
Tempo.
And we finally have a name. We have, potential games that are coming. We have a price point. We have this is exciting, guys. This is exciting. So Luna, if you guys didn't know, like I was saying, it's Amazon's cloud gaming platform and service, if you want to call it that. It's going to be $6 a month for something they call Luna Plus, right? And then it's going to have channels, I think is what they call it. And Ubisoft is going to be one of the first official channel. And pretty much what this is companies like Ubisoft games, AAA games, same day release games are going to be available for the platform. So this is the Netflix style gaming that everyone's been asking for, but then they have a separate model, a way to bring same day release games onto the service, right? And it comes with a controller, which is going to be $50, which looks like a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. I'm sure everyone has seen that and have said that. And this is going to be one of the only cloud game device that is going to be running on iOS devices, iPhones and iPad. But there's a catch. There's not going to be like an app. They're bypassing that. And so I just want to bring that up too, to ask you guys in the panel why we'll get to this, but why aren't the other people doing what Amazon's doing? Do you think Amazon had to get like Apple's approval to do this? Or do you think Microsoft and Stadia could have went the back route and did what they were doing? But we'll get to that in a bit. But to get started, so much to cover with this. What's your take on Luna? We'll start with Duncan. What's your take on Luna?
It's awful and they should stop now. So, Luna for me just looks. It's bringing back on live for me. You could see if people don't know, I used on live when it first came out. It's using nearly some of the screenshots which came out. You can sit there and watch people play from the game screen, or you can just jump in.
Yeah.
This is going to be absolutely mad, and it looks like a more fully fleshed out product now than Stadia is.
Right.
The model, I don't. People are going to go on. It's only 1080p. It's not 4K. Stadia is better. I like the way this is doing. It's going. The big thing is it's Windows based, so that means they can get the games across like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
And this is what Stadia needed. They needed a big someone out there to compete with them, because Stadia at this moment feels like they're in the wee paddling pool and just putting their feet in there. And now the big boys are coming out to play with xCloud and Amazon, and this is brilliant. I am really, really looking forward to getting a look at Luna, but unfortunately it's only over in the States at the moment, so we won't be able to play it for a while.
That's a bummer. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, it's only right now exclusive to that. That's weird. But anyway, Amazon is an American-based company, so it makes sense, but it's still weird. But Mark, just want to check in with you. What's your take on Luna?
Oh, where do we start? I'm excited for this. I said it's another big player. It's definitely a big push in the market, and I said ultimately the more people in this space making it more competitive, they're going to compete against each other, and ultimately the people who benefit are us, the players. I think that $5.99 price is decent for. Even for an introductory price, for launching a service like this, for trying it out, nobody's going to be opposed to $6 to give it a try. I think probably we'll see it go to about 10, 12, maybe after a year or so. But introductory is pretty good. Obviously, we haven't seen it run yet, but I've got very little doubts that the AWS architecture that it's not going to be able to handle this, that it's going to be absolutely fine. Streaming the gameplay, 1080p is going to be easy. Up to 4K, it's going to depend on the developers, and that's coming soon. But even at that, it should be okay. I don't think we'll see some of these performance issues we're seeing with Stadia. And just the business model is what I've been saying from day one. This is I feel much more relaxed about going in and picking up something and giving it a try, as opposed to the Stadia of, well, I would try that, but I don't want to drop $20, $30, $40 and then not enjoy it and try and refund it and all of that. This is it's what we always reference. It's the Netflix of gaming. That's why when they're talking about these additional channels with developers like I almost said Bethesda, it's not going to be Bethesda now, with Ubisoft, that they're calling them channels, because it's like a Netflix, like a cable package, like you would just pick up an extra channel and get the games associated with that. So yeah, I'm incredibly excited.
Yeah, the model makes sense. This is weird to say, but it makes sense. Like, I think people are still scratching their heads to try and figure out to me, Stadia makes sense, right? Because I'm a gamer. The way I view Stadia is like a console in the cloud, right? So they start fresh, having their own friends list, their own store, But some people just have a hard time understanding Stadia's move. But this one, you tell them, okay, does this channel? It just makes sense. But I hear you in that, Mark. So, Jerry, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I went absolutely unexcited about Luna to absolutely freaking out, dying to try it, because the business model is where it's at. And with the value we always talk about with Game Pass and being able to go subscribe to the channels, cancel a channel, pick up another channel because of certain games you either want to play or test or whatever the case may be, it's really going to be good. And what Duncan was touching on, which a lot of people haven't talked a lot about yet, is the whole Windows-based bringing games over. They're going to run better than Stadia day one, I can tell you, and it's going to be easier to bring them over. We're talking NVIDIA T4 Turing architecture, 8.1 teraflops with ray tracing on day one. So even though it's like 2.7 teraflops weaker than Stadia, you're never going to see that difference. It's actually, everything's going to look and run better on Luna. So the tech alone, I'm excited about to see there. They're going to be getting AAA games at launch. Stadia, it took them a year to really get to that point for the most part. Last year you didn't get Assassin's Creed Odyssey right away. Things took a little bit of time. I do believe, wasn't that just like a little bit held off on that one, or was that one of their first big AAA games that they had at release, like on their launch day? On Stadia's launch day, did they have Assassin's Creed Odyssey?
Yes.
They did? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I didn't pick them up till a couple months after they released last year. So, but they definitely have a game lineup and a business model that's just going to make a ton more sense, and the tech is just going to be a lot better when it comes to everything there too. So yeah, I went from not caring to like definitely going to be one of the top cloud gaming services I want to check out.
Right. Holtz, what's your take on this, man?
I'm in a mixed bag with Luna, because part of me is like, okay, I like the idea of the channels, But if Uplay is going to bring a channel which adds more cost, well, I want the best availability, so I want 4K HDR.
Ooh,
And
like
if they can't offer at launch, then
right.
I would easily switch to Stadia and won't care about channels.
Mm.
But to me, also, when I look at the games, I look at the games list and I see like Castlevania Anniversary Collection or Yeast 8, Lacrimosa of Diana. And I think to myself, oh, they're games that I would play, but how fast could I be able to play them before they come in and out of their service? Because you've said it's going to shuffle around. So I'm like, okay, so that Luna Plus does interest me if there's games there, but I don't think I can commit to it for a whole year unless they offer me a cheaper, reduced price.
Yeah.
But yeah, and when I saw Luna, I thought to myself, wow, how did they get on the Apple Store? And then as I was reading, I thought to myself, wow, they used the PWA, Progressive Web Applications, to sort of they have to review the games. And I thought to myself, well, that was clever. That was quite straightforward. It was in the Apple's terms that you could do that.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well done, Apple, well done, Amazon, for reading the terms and conditions. And now I'm looking at other like Stadia, going, why aren't you doing that?
Yeah. Right.
So they do deserve brownie points, and I think
Yeah.
Luna is going to definitely help push cloud gaming because
yeah.
of Twitch. But at the moment, is it going to be there day one? But another thing where I like about Luna is the fact is, I'm sure I read somewhere or heard somewhere they're going to have family sharing on day one for 2 users. For 2 users. So if I can sort of share my Uplay channel, my EA channel, and I would
for one.
I was only for one. So
the Ubisoft one is just for one, but the Luna Plus is for 2.
Yeah, so when I look at them, the Luna Plus, I don't really want to care sharing them too, because at the moment, at launch, there's not that many games that I would want to sort of share. And at the moment, I think the price is a great price for the beta, but it's definitely going to go up. When they offer 4K, it's definitely going up. And then I have to review the price and say, how would it compare to other cloud services in a few months? Because in the UK, I'm not going to have access to it for at least a few months.
True. Chief, what's your take on this?
Where to begin? So I think we've been waiting for Amazon to play their hand after the Crucible problems. If you even remember that game called Crucible that kind of graced our screens for a weekend. And then we have the New World drop that has been pushed back for another year. And I have a feeling it's because they're going to run it off of Luna. And it's probably that they saw how bad and how hard it was for people to be able to run that game on their systems and thought, actually, let's just delay it, get Luna up and running and drop it on Luna. And I think that New World on Luna is going to be a much better experience than it was on our local rigs. The price, they have said it's an introductory price of $5.99, like Geforce Now is an introductory $4.99. They're both going to go up. However, Twitch Gaming has been rebranded. It's now Prime Gaming. No, it's gone the other way, isn't it? Is it Prime? I forget which way around it's gone. But they've renamed Prime Gaming. So it's not Twitch Prime anymore. It's Prime Gaming, I think it is. I think that's the way around. Duncan can confirm. But I think that Luna Plus is going to form part of that Prime bundle. If you've got Amazon Prime for the £80 a year, you get Prime Video, Prime Music, you get your delivery, you get Twitch Prime deals. I think Luna Plus will roll into that, and that introductory price will then be the enhanced version, like you've got your Prime Unlimited Music, stuff like that. The channels is fantastic. What I really want to know is, I already subscribe to Uplay Plus, so will I be able to use it on Amazon Prime or on Luna without having to buy another channel? Or am I going to have to subscribe separately? They've specifically said that the Uplay channel can only play on one device, but does that mean that I could use Luna Plus on 2 other devices, so technically 3, because I'm only using the Uplay channel on one device, so therefore technically might have 3. If you've got more channels, does that actually get you an extra device to share on? There's lots of things there. Now, I've used stuff that uses AWS via Safari, and it's not been a bad experience, but the machines that I've used through Safari aren't local. say quality issues and a few other things. The T4 machines I've used in AWS to run games, it does work really well, but it kind of concerns me the way that it's going to work, because this is pretty much how Geforce Now works. It's running specific virtual machines, running specific games through a client. So how is the logging going to work? How is your cross save and all that going to work? Because Geforce Now, if we've all hit it, play a Uplay Plus game on Geforce Now, go through your two-factor authentication, doesn't remember passwords, doesn't remember this, that, and the other.
Terrible.
It can be a horrible experience. So I'm hoping that Amazon get that right and learn the lessons from Geforce Now, learn the lessons from Stadia. Having these channels is awesome, because I would much rather pay a subscription for my games, and I already do. I had EA Premier. I paid the 90 quid for the year. That's like 2 games. I can just pick up any AAA Origin title on PC. As soon as it drops with the Ultimate Edition, Uplay Plus, $12.99, get the Ultimate Edition of every single game, all of the DLC. I'm quite happy to just pay those little amounts every month and dip in and out of all these games as and when I choose, knowing that I've got the best content available.
Right.
So I think they've got the model. I'm just hoping that they get the performance right. 1080, don't care. I've got a 1080 monitor. My TV upscales from 1080 to 4K, you wouldn't notice, or as it does with GeForce Now, it switches the resolution of my TV to 1080, and I can't tell the difference between it running native 4K or the 1080 on a 47-inch screen. It looks great. So as long as they get that right, I don't think the 4K is going to be an issue. It's going to be great that it's coming later, but like Holt said, I think that price is going to increase. So very exciting for the world of gaming. Could be the final nail in the coffin for Stadia if Stadia don't sort something out. And if Amazon do it right, it could be the nail in the coffin for GeForce Now too, because they've got that infrastructure. They can roll it out, and they've got the power of the machines. So was it Phil Spencer said, "I'm not worried about PlayStation. Amazon and Google are our big competitors." Well, he wasn't lying. They've come out swinging. So it'll be very interesting to see how that performs.
Yeah. So if I can get, was someone gonna say something? Okay. So if I can get like my Steve Ballmer on right now, like this is exciting stuff for me, guys. This is it. We have everyone's hands and on the table. We're not speculating anymore what Amazon is gonna do. We know, right? We know how serious Microsoft is. I think we're gonna get to them in a bit, but acquiring Bethesda says a lot about what they want for Game Pass and how serious they want to take cloud gaming with the Game Pass game streaming. I would honestly have to say, right, Stadia right now has me a little nervous. And I think someone said it, I don't know if it was Duncan or Holtz, but they've been like sleeping, right? Because the competition, I mean, all they had to begin was GeForce Now just getting out of beta in February, right? Xbox, again, still in beta, but they really didn't show their hands until this fall. So they've had all this time to get things rolling. And like right now, I must say I'm really nervous for them. So I want to know for you guys who are on the panel right now, like we have a blueprint of what each of these companies are going to be doing with cloud gaming, right? We have an idea, it's all on the table now. Based on what we know, based on the hands that everyone has, been dealt, who do you think has the better model? Who do you think is going to come out on top with knowing what they all have to offer, right? So to get started with that question, let's start with Mark.
What an unfair question.
I've been thinking about this one for quite some time, so I want to know what you guys think about it.
I think it would be easier to go in reverse order, and for what we know at the moment, I do put Stadia last. with how they've been playing it, with the performance of some of their stuff, the lackluster games, the business model, which we've talked about, but I've never been on board with, I put them last. Geforce Now, I don't think will. They've definitely got a unique target market because it's existing PC gamers who don't want to upgrade their hardware or want to take that on the go, and I think that's a stable fan base of people who they don't have to worry too much about. I don't see them ever coming out on top, but I also don't see them kind of dying off. I think they're relatively safe. Then obviously we've got all of our PC ones, and I would actually now start to classify them differently. Your PC cloud gaming rigs versus your cloud gaming, and I would start to. So I wouldn't even include them in this list because they're, a whole different ball game. As it sits at the moment, it would then be Luna on top. But so yeah, Game Pass, Luna on top. I think it is very tight between those two. It's difficult to say one because Game Pass, I think people are still struggling with the performance. Not the performance running the game, just the streaming performance seems to be lackluster and a bit jittery to some people. So I still think they've got some work to do there. Obviously, it's not available on PC. It's still capped at kind of 720, stuff like that. So that stops it from being top for me. Their selection is absolutely top with the moves they've been making with the ecosystem. Acquiring Bethesda, I know we're going to get onto that, and I've heard that's not the end of it. They're just going to keep buying studios. Are up to 23 now. Like, who else are they going to get? They're going to be a monopoly of studios eventually. So the choice of games absolutely makes them number one for me. The service of the performance of their cloud gaming stops them taking it for me. And it's hard to say with Luna because we've not played it yet, and we've just got the announcement. I'm a big fan of the business model. I'd love to see how it runs. I'd like to see what they do in terms of acquiring, exclusivity for games, or even picking up studios themselves. They've got enough money to start playing that exact same game, so that would be good. But the big one that obviously you said we've got everyone's blueprints. We still need to know what the hell PlayStation are going to do, because they could come in and completely knock it all out. So that's definitely interesting.
At this point, it's sad to say, but I've given up all hope with PlayStation Now. I hope they come out swinging, and they can't be silent. Or maybe they can, but I don't know. But yeah, it'll be good to know what Sony's up to. But good point, I forgot about them. But let's go to Duncan. Who do you have coming out on top based on all that we know right now with the cloud gaming platforms? Your mic is muted.
It's like a Zoom call.
Yeah. Mark stole what I was going to say. At this moment in time, I would put Stadia last. Unfortunately, for a number of reasons. It's Stadia at this moment in time. I think we're pretty much all in agreement. Stadia's tech is probably the best out there, even before we've even seen Luna's one. However, it's just the moves they're making and the lack of forward thinking, and you can't actually see what they're going to do. And the mood music isn't coming out, because I haven't even touched onto that sort of thing. The mood music from the higher echelons of Stadia is not great. I would put Geforce Now next for the point Mark made completely, is that they have got their niche. They are supplementing PC users. So I still see them fading away into the distance, but I think they've got actually more legs at the moment than Stadia. Next, I would actually put Luna. It's because they're still building up their studios. One thing that we know different between Luna and Stadia, that they have got their own studios. We know what games are coming. We've actually seen the hints of games which are going to be featuring in Luna. But if you go onto the Amazon Games website, you can actually see a Pac-Man game, and it looks like that's got, well, if you're in the Stadia world, crowd play and state share on it. So that's something to keep an eye on. We know that their first party, they've maybe had a couple of swings and a miss with like Crucible, but we know that games are coming. We've got the New World game, and we've also got the Lord of the Rings RPG. And they aren't. Didn't they acquire the guys who made Killer Instinct as well a couple of years ago? I forget the name of the studio at the top.
Rare made Kill, and I think Microsoft acquired them. Rare is a part of Microsoft now.
No, it's not. It's not Rare. It's the one who made the latest Killer Instinct.
Oh, I don't know. I know Killer Instinct is a Rare IP though.
It's a Rare IP. I'm just looking it up now when I'm. Let me see. It's Double Helix. I think that's who it was. They Amazon acquired them a number of years ago as well. So they're sitting around, they're making moves, their games are coming out. And then I would put Microsoft on top because for me, it always will come down to content. Content is king, and they are out there buying it. One more thing I would just want to mention about Luna and why I did actually put that higher than Stadia is they're going to be coming out swinging, and they've already said you're watching on Twitch. So if this is up and running when Valhalla kicks off, you're watching someone stream Valhalla on Twitch. Play now for 15 quid or $15. Bang, click play, away you go. Another Stadia feature gone.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, but I mean, how long have they been taught in that feature, and we still don't have? And watch Amazon beat them to it, right? It's just insane. All right, cool. It's you, sir. Who do you have coming out on top?
I'm definitely saying Game Pass. I'm definitely saying Microsoft now. Yeah. What they've just done with buying the studios. I mean, for years, everyone's always bashed Microsoft. You don't have the studios, you don't have the games. Even though I believed they had a great library already, people bashed them. And now they've came out and, they've brought EA Plays, they've brought Bethesda, and now they're saying, look, here's our hand. We're joining the big game now, which they believed was Amazon and Google. And I think what they're doing now, when I look at them games, I'm thinking, wow, they're all games that I want to play. And if they could tie them behind cloud, going forward, of course I want Fallout and Elder Scrolls to go to other platforms, but if they can just tie them exclusives behind cloud, of course I'm going to jump on that service first. And then I was watching the Tokyo Game Show the weekend, and they were announcing that Game Pass is coming to Japan early. I heard about that. Early 2001 with cloud games, and I was thinking to myself, wow, they opened the market quite faster than other services. And part of me is like, okay, we don't see Bandai Namco on Geforce Now or anywhere else and stuff like that. What happens if Microsoft is secretly saying, well, we'll buy maybe Asian companies and we'll expand our Game Pass with all these different culture libraries? So I think that's what they're going to do. And with the whole idea of expanding to Series X graphics cards, then it's ticking all the boxes for me. It's going, okay, they're going to have the latest games, powerful graphics, great price of entry, all the games that I want to play. So Microsoft's the one for me. Then I would put Stadia. And why I put Stadia second over Luna, at least I know what games are coming. At least I know Stadia can flick a switch and have Blade 2 to increase the graphics. At least I know I've got Cyberpunk. At least I know I've got Valhalla. At least I know I've got this. All Stadia needs to do is tell me what's coming in January and March. Yeah. But then when I watched Luna, I was a bit disappointed that they didn't tell me. Okay, they know developers are coming, but I want to know, where's FIFA? Where's Black Ops? Where's Cyberpunk? So with them only saying, oh, it's coming soon at the moment with only 1080 and beta, I'm like, oh, okay, so it's when you're ready. But I'm ready now. So at the moment, Stadia's second for me, then it's Luna. I mean, of course, it can always switch.
Yeah.
In another 6 months, but that's the way I see it.
Okay. Nice list. How about you, Chief? Who comes up top for you?
Yeah, I find it quite tough. I think it's definitely, a tie really between Luna and Xbox Game Pass Cloud, because Xbox has got the games, it's got the library, you know that it's going to have that tie-in. My concern is that cloud is always going to be secondary, because console and PC are going to be their main drivers, because you can play those games in 4K, etc. They don't have to worry about streaming quality, blah blah blah. Luna, I just like their model. I just had a quick look at their games list again. Legion and Valhalla are there, so they are either going to rush through this early access stage and release by the end of the month to get those games actually on there, or it's going to be a long early access and we'll have to wait and see. But I said I've used AWS rigs quite a lot. I know the performance, I know the power is there. It's just how that user experience is. And the fact that things like Hyperscape, Twitch integration, they did amazing things for that game. So for them to be tied into Twitch from day one, click to play basically is what it is from Twitch streams, and having that crowd play, which we know works, because crowd play has been embedded into streams for how long, so that's just kind of part of their bread and butter. And the fact that the Twitch following is humongous, and YouTube gaming has really struggled, and I was hoping that Stadia would push YouTube gaming more, but they just haven't. Stadia will be down the bottom now because we're coming up to a year anniversary, so they really better do something big for this year anniversary, because we're still waiting for crowd play, we're still waiting for Uplay Plus, we're still waiting for a few other bits and pieces, family sharing, that were promised pretty much day one. And I'm just tired. We all say we want Stadia to succeed. It's a great technology, but there's only so long that you can defend stuff like this. And with Luna coming out swinging like this, with Xbox, coming out swinging with Game Pass and the bundle and everything else, PS Now, definitely bottom of the pile, because the current PS Now offering is just rubbish compared. You thought xCloud was bad, PS Now really makes Stadia and Geforce Now look amazing. I think Geforce Now and Stadia are kind of middle for me, because Stadia's got the tech but not the games. Geforce Now's got the tech and the games, but not really a full package, because you still have to buy the games elsewhere. Got login problems, you got startup issues. Nobody has got this right yet, and I think probably half the excitement for Luna is we're like, has somebody finally got this right?
Figured it out. Yeah.
And we're gonna have to wait and see, and I'm gonna have to wait longer than you guys, or you at least, Ace. So you better have signed up to that beta.
I have, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, as we wait,
We have
as we
the
wait.
English corner over here. No, wait.
Yeah.
No,
These
it's that way,
guys.
Yeah.
Is that way?
Yeah. How about you, Jerry? What's your take on this?
Yeah.
Who do you got?
I'll go
coming?
quick for you because I know you want to get going on to wrapping this up. PS Now we're not going to talk about, because Sony's been very, very adamant that they're all about hardware like Nintendo right now. So that's pretty much what's going to be going on. And thank you, whatever you're doing. And Stadia, GeForce Now, Luna, Microsoft. Microsoft is my number one right now, because even though, like Mark said, the current conditions are 720p and things like that, we already know that xCloud's coming to PC. It's coming 1080p 60 at least. It will be 4K by the time the next Blades come. So if I'm looking farther out, and the fact that Xbox is going to reach about 80% of the world's gamers by the time you put together Android, PCs with Windows 10, and consoles, they're going to reach the largest audience of any gaming company on the planet. So they are going to be the biggest and most successful, at least to start out. But as Chief was saying, has someone figured out cloud? Has Luna, has Amazon figured it out? And one of the reasons I'm excited about Luna is for a lot of the things that we don't know yet, is because it looks like they're actually planning things. It looks like they might actually have some money behind them and some planning, and know what their audience is going to be and know what they want to accomplish, which gives me some faith that the service could actually take off. And I don't think it would take a lot to overtake Stadia. And I'm actually getting really concerned as if we're even going to be talking about Stadia in a year or two if things don't change, because we know Google could just goodbye and no more.
Yeah. Good point. And like I said earlier, originally I was not concerned for Stadia, but I do have to be honest. I I love
It's
Google.
getting hot in here, Ace. The
Yeah.
competition's getting hot in here.
It's
Okay,
getting really
quick.
hot. It's getting really it is really really hot really quick, and it's just like originally I had them coming out on top, but now man, just Microsoft. Something to realize. Even though Chief, I know you were saying that cloud gaming is not the focus. So personally, I think what Microsoft is aiming for is to become the best at everything when it comes to gaming. I think they want to dethrone Sony when it comes to hardware. Again, that's why we're seeing these exclusive. I think they see Google and Amazon as huge competitors, so I think they want a piece of that market too. I think they're going for everyone and just being realistic. I think they can succeed. Again, someone was saying on here, this is not the last of of the companies they're going to acquire. And think about them acquiring another big company. Holtz was saying they come to Japan, right? Just think about like them acquiring like another company that will shake the gaming market. Another big, imagine if they acquire a company like Capcom, right? Or not saying it will happen, but so I personally, my take on this situation, I see Luna either second or third. I do see Game Pass on top. The reasons because Microsoft has the pockets. Microsoft has a direction, they have a goal, and they're very ambitious. I don't see them stopping. And some of you guys have stated on here when the Blade becomes Series X Blade becomes available in the cloud, I feel like that should help with the performance issue. So overall, I think they're hitting it out of the park. But again, we don't know what cloud gaming should look like. But I have to say, think about this, guys. So we hear about channels when it comes to what Amazon is doing, right? Again, imagine if Microsoft offers something similar to channels, right? So now they have a huge portfolio of first party IPs, right? So now they have that Netflix style for games. Imagine if they start doing the channels thing to where you now getting same day release on Game Pass, right? Again, Microsoft's not going to sit around and let Amazon run with that. That's like you can't compete with having that huge catalog and offering that. So overall, I do see them coming out on top.
It
As
also
crazy
solves
as
the
it sounds.
problem that we talk about all the time of how they're going to keep offering all these things for $15 a month
Yeah.
now with EA Play
Yeah.
and xCloud
Oh,
and
yeah.
Xbox. Well, if they start
Oh, yeah.
offering tiers of service,
Exactly.
$14.99, $19.99, $24.99, and gets you these different access to the channels and drops and things, that could solve their problem for profitability, but also for what people
Exactly.
do and don't want to sign up for. That's a good idea.
Exactly. So I'm really concerned for Stadia. I'm gonna be honest, but Google, you can turn things around, man. You just gotta you. This is the it's. I love this because competition is serious now. Is it like you were saying? Jared's getting hot. They have to start taking this seriously. They've been chilling for quite some time. Now it's time to.
I think they're holding off for their year anniversary. I think that everybody else is just trying to derail them before they
But
go.
what
And
are,
But I think it's
what
going
are
to
they
get to the
gonna
point
do
that
though?
they're going to make those announcements and they're going to feel lackluster because
Yeah.
it's just too late.
Here's the thing as well. When is Stadia's anniversary?
19th of November,
What's happening 19th of November?
the PlayStation 5.
And
Xbox. We're going to have 2 consoles a week before that.
You don't want to
we're
go
going to
against that.
we've got the PlayStation's launching in the rest of the world on the 19th. Cyberpunk.
Oh.
So
I got 2 out of 3.
Man, it's again not looking good.
if they need,
Go ahead.
if they're going to announce something, they need to do it next month because as soon as November hits, bang, it's gone. No one is going to listen.
It's not looking good. And
yeah.
I'm rooting for you, Google. Seriously, but you got to wake up, man.
But the concern with me with Luna is, like Chief said, he'll be upset if he actually went onto the Uplay channel and he had to resubscribe to Uplay Plus.
That's
so
true.
I think you're going to have to.
Right, so people won't be happy with that. And I think what people are going to do when they go with Games Pass, they're going to say, wait there, I've seen Watch Dogs 2 and I've seen these games come to Game Pass at a later date.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to start saying, well, I'd rather wait and have all the games on Game Pass than ever toggling through the channels going, should I buy EA Plays? Should I buy Uplay Plus? So I think that's going to scare people off. And then when you look at what it's going to scare some people off.
Yeah, so something to consider, and I'm sure you guys have seen this, right? The fact that Valhalla's coming to Game Pass, right? So that might be a thing that hasn't even been enough. No, you're nodding your head, Duncan? It's not coming.
Valhalla is not coming to Game Pass. It is being confirmed by Major Nelson. That was completely false. That was someone manipulating the screenshot.
Yeah, I was gonna say if that was legit, then that would in a way kind of confirm what we were talking about, channels possibly in the future coming to Game Pass, right? But I still think that's a thing that can happen in the future for Game Pass. But Chief, you were gonna say something?
I thought I saw Legion was going to be.
I thought I saw so too, but Duncan was saying this is more of like a speculation. I would have to look more into that.
Basically, what happened was a screen cap about Xbox Series X, and someone manipulated the screenshot to show that it was like they were advertising Valhalla coming to Game Pass, but they actually skipped out. Major Nelson said, "No, this is completely false."
Okay.
At this moment in time.
Good to know. So we got 10 minutes. So let's just jump right into Xbox, xCloud, if you want to call it that. And the biggest announcement, like we've stated in this podcast, the fact that Microsoft just purchased Bethesda. Huge. Not just they purchased like the whole ZeniMax, or if you want to call it that, the whole city, right? So it's not just, this is a huge deal. And so we're going to be seeing games like Doom, Elder Scroll, Dishonored, Rage, all those franchises are now going to be a part of Game Pass. And so my thing is, what does this mean for cloud gaming? And are we going to see Microsoft become bullish with letting these other IPs be available on other cloud gaming platforms like the PlayStation Now? I'm hearing a lot of yeses, but we're going to check in with you guys individually just to get an idea of how big of a move this is for the cloud gaming space. So to get started, host, what's your take on this acquisition?
Well, I hope that, like I said, they only put the exclusives on the cloud or Game Pass, and they let sort of the games come to other platforms at a later date. I don't want to hoard these games, but on the other side of me, it's like, well, you've always laughed at Microsoft for years, so if they want to hoard and they want to say, well, we'll help buy Sega or Bandai Namco or, I don't know, Konami, then I'll be like, well done, glad you're getting the big hitters. Who can laugh at you now? And then I'll look at the other people and go, where's your money? Where's your wallet, Amazon? Where's your wallet, Google? So
PS5 with all their exclusives, saying, "Well, Xbox doesn't have exclusives."
Yeah,
but just got a few big studios.
Yeah, it's got big few studios. I mean, I love exclusives, but I never ever looked down at Microsoft's exclusives. Never. Thought they were great.
Yeah.
And now they can just say, we've got exclusives, we've got services, we've got deals, we've got memberships, and they seem to have everything now, don't they?
Yeah.
They played the long game.
Yeah, for sure. How about you, Mark? What's your take on this Microsoft purchase in ZeniMax?
Yeah, I'm extremely happy with the acquisition because I've recently I did the thing that I was complaining about last week. Last week when they announced that the introductory price for Game Pass for PC, which for us was $3.99, is going to be going up to $7.99. Yeah. And then for us, the jump from that to Game Pass Ultimate is only another £2-3 a month or something. So I did that immediately after this announcement, basically, because the price was going to go up anyway. I thought, well, I might as well get the cloud stuff as well. And as soon as this announcement came up of the acquisition, I was like, well, that fully justifies the price now. If you were just going to double it and nothing was going to change, then I was a little bit salty at that. But, with the backlog of content that we're going to get, available in multiple places now with Microsoft, then I'm all for jumping in a bit further. In terms of exclusivity, I have no idea. I think it's going to be very hit and miss, and I don't think even Microsoft know at this point. Yeah. The statement they gave was so vague. It was basically stuff is going to be coming to Xbox, PC, and other systems on a case-by-case basis. So I think there's going to be a lot of individual deals, and it's going to depend on the developers and who they've spoken to. It literally will be case-by-case. I think it's going to be quite difficult to predict. but they've absolutely got that power now to call those shots and be this monopoly and play the exclusivity card and say no, you can't have it.
True.
They're gonna.
And just to throw this in again, but do you think they're gonna buy other studios? And if so, just give a guess on who do you think they're gonna purchase next, Mark? And Horst, we'll get back to you with this.
Yeah, I think I've already seen. I think Phil Spencer's probably. I saw he already commented that they're already looking to pick up more studios. That 23 studio number is definitely going to grow. I think it probably is, like Holtz was saying, it's probably a good shout. Looking somewhere in the Eastern market, Bandai Namco, Capcom, something like that would be a great shout. I think with the stuff we've been hearing, like little pieces could be on the horizon. Definitely want to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Holtz, back to you. Who do you see them acquiring more studios, and if so, who?
Okay, I would go for Bandai Namco. You know, what I mean, we go for the anime franchise. They've got loads of figures they can sell, and in the Eastern market, they love that. And they've got Project Cars, they've got Tekken, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a great thing to sort of have like the most leading car game, the most leading fighting game to complement Microsoft's exclusives.
Right.
But part of me also, I was watching the showcase and I seen Phil Spencer, and then they showed Nier Replicant, and I was like, "Oh, is this coming to Microsoft?" I mean, the cloud service, and it just didn't show any logos. And I was like, "Oh, please, you should have bought that game.
Yeah.
You missed the beat there." So I wonder if there's going to be other games that I'm going to look thinking, "Well, why isn't no one snatching that up?"
Yeah, Nier, the first one, is on Game Pass now.
I think this is the remake of that game. So.
Is it a remake? I thought it was like an additional sequel. I have to look into it. It looked good.
No, because they brought Replicant out, which was a few story tweaks from Nier. So this one's coming out. I think it's the 21st of. I think. I can't remember now. 21st April, something like that. So it's coming out next year.
Yeah.
But once I say, when Microsoft was trying to say, and we're pushing into this market, well done. We sold our Xbox Series X's, our S's, and Game Pass is coming to these markets, the Japanese market. I thought to myself, well, wouldn't it be clever if they sort of collaborated with these companies? So that's why I picked the Japanese brands.
Good call. How about you, Jared? What's your take? Do you
from watching Duncan shake his head over there, I know he knows as well. Like basically, it's such a great move with Microsoft, with Bethesda, and as far as buying other studios, yeah, they're coming. I mean, they went from like 3 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 15 to 23 studios in 5 years. They've just been getting there, yeah. So yeah, there's more coming. Definitely Eastern markets. Bandai Namco would be a fantastic one. Oh my gosh, just imagine if now we could add that with Bethesda, and you're only going to be able to get all that on Game Pass. All existing Bethesda games and all those other studios are going to stay on all of their platforms. That's not a big deal. And Elder Scrolls Online, the live service, that's going to stay on everything. But like the next Doom, don't expect that to see anywhere but Game Pass, but Xbox. The next big games that are going to be coming out, Elder Scrolls, not the next big Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever, Xbox only. You're not going to play it on PlayStation. PlayStation does not cover enough market. PlayStation's putting themselves into a little corner in a box of hardware, and they're going to cover maybe 20% of the gamers in the entire planet. And Microsoft's going to cover about 80% of the gamers in the entire planet because of Windows 10, Android, and Xbox. And when you put it all together, they have no reason to let you have those games on PlayStation. And they also have no reason to say it right now that that's what they're going to do. Of course, they're going to say case-by-case basis. They don't want to tick anybody off right now. But future games that come out, most of them, even Starfield, you are not going to play that on PlayStation anymore. That's going to be an Xbox only, PC only type thing, which is fine because PCs are everywhere. They don't need to put it anywhere else. So Game Pass, PC, Xbox, all the way. They're going to keep buying stuff, and you're going to see it go exclusive.
That's crazy, man.
You're not playing the next Doom on Stadia or PlayStation. I'm telling you right now. It ain't going to happen.
Oh, man. That's crazy. Duncan, what's your take on this?
Say it, Duncan.
Not in mission. They are not going on to PlayStation or Stadia or anything. If they wanted these just for Game Pass, they didn't have to write the check for $7.5 billion.
Billion. Insane.
Yeah. They are bought for Xbox, and I can't wait to see the PlayStation studio or PlayStation game next year, which is out from my head here. PlayStation exclusive game with Microsoft publishing
Microsoft
it.
Studios.
Yeah, I can't wait till that happens. But
they own PlayStation exclusives now. I love it.
Yeah.
It was Deathloop and Ghostwire
Ghostwire.
Yeah.
Tokyo.
But
Yeah.
there is not a mission of them going over games like Elder Scrolls Online and all the expansions, any old deals which are still in play. They will still be supported. Next Doom, next Elder Scrolls, Starfield, whatever you want to go on for, they will be Microsoft exclusives. They are not playing about. And I think a lot of people are just seeing this in the here and now and not actually seeing the bigger picture. When this all actually plays out and when these games are actually going to be available, xCloud is going to be a lot more mature and they're just going to say, play it on that, play it on your Samsung TV, because that's going to be coming up soon where you can just play it there. Regarding which studio they may go after, the studio has went out from my head, but it's like the Deep Silver Clock Media, is it? I think that one where they have just been buying studio after studio after studio. I think they're just setting themselves up to be bought. So I think someone is going after them. Because I was going to say a Japanese one, because the Japanese one was, they've sort of hinted at that one, but I'll just go something a bit more left field.
Yeah, at this point, the joke is like if a company is struggling financially, right? Microsoft just deal with your wallets or waiting to acquire. So if we see any company who's start struggling, just they might be a candidate to be bought by Microsoft. But Chief, what's your take on this move, man? Who do you think they're gonna acquire next?
I think that £12 a month for Game Pass Ultimate has just got a lot better. I think it's a fantastic move, and I want to see what PS Now is going to do, but really think
don't look at PS Now.
I think that PlayStation has really boxed themselves into a corner because they've come out, exclusive this, exclusive that, only on console, PlayStation exclusive, and Microsoft have gone, okay, well, you can play on console, you can play on PC, you can play on the cloud, fine, have your exclusives, because as Jerry said, have your 20% of the market. We don't care. We're going after the 80%, everybody else. So, have your exclusives. Xbox will do exclusives, but they'll probably go, okay, we've had exclusive for 6-12 months. Everybody who's going to subscribe to Xbox Game Pass is subscribed. Okay, we'll put it out on other platforms. Maybe Stadia can get it. Maybe we'll put it on Geforce Now. And okay, PlayStation, if you cough up enough money, maybe we'll let you guys play it too. But I think it's a fantastic deal for them. As far as other studios goes, Sega keeps coming to mind. I don't know why, but I think that would be a really good get for them. And Bandai Namco disappeared from loads of other platforms a little while ago. Bethesda games disappeared from very similar platforms a little bit before that. So is that a little bit of a hint that maybe they have been acquired or they've been in those deals for some time? So I think it could well be that Sega and Bandai Namco have been in some of the deals, whether it's Microsoft or somebody else. Time will tell, but it is very telling that Bethesda was one of the first to disappear from those platforms and they've popped up on Microsoft. So there's a couple of other studios, as I said, that may be following the same route. So that'd be quite cool. But for £12 a month, I'm getting more games than I get on Uplay Plus. So that is one subscription that I'll be looking at. If some of those games start coming onto Game Pass, I don't need Uplay Plus anymore, that's for sure. So Microsoft are playing the long game, subscription market, and I think that they are doing a brilliant job of it.
Cool. All right, fellas, I am checking that time, and the wife is actually texting like should be done. But anyway, just want to give the members on this panel a chance to plug the channels. But great discussion today. Like I said, we had a lot to talk about. But I know we didn't get to questions today, and every Monday and Wednesday we have open chat. So if you guys have questions that we didn't cover, find us there, and you can ask those questions. But let's just take a second to plug the members of this panel. So Duncan, where can people find you, sir?
You can find me at One2Escape on Twitter, and yes, I like people talking to me on Twitter and debating with me. Again, just to clarify some points, like we've just had there, Charles, was it Charles? Sorry, someone was just tweeting to us, or sorry, Dustin. I just responded to you there. You may think we are all going hard on Stadia, but we are doing it from a place of I'm not going to say love, we're doing it from a place where we wanted to improve. But at this moment in time, just all the mood music from top to bottom is just not great. And we do want it to improve. And we're not saying Stadia is dead.
Yeah, good point. Mark, where can they find you, sir?
You can follow me on Twitter at MarkWattsVOGS and over on YouTube at MarkWattsVOG for VR news, tech news, and lots of cloud gaming news.
There you go. Jerry, where can they find you, sir?
Yeah, guys, Game Tech Planet, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, hardware testing, game testing, cloud gaming, news, all that kind of stuff.
Cool. Awesome. And Holtz, where can they find
You
you?
can catch me on Twitter at Holt86, and I've just finished designing some characters and mascots for future projects.
Cool. And you can find us here, Chief and I, Cloud Gaming Extreme, where we do videos, cloud gaming videos. But this was awesome. It's so cool to talk. Again, I'm not joking. I was telling Chief, like, I'm so excited of this podcast because we have amazing people to just talk about cloud gaming. Sometimes I even forget that there's an audience like watching because it's just so fun having these conversations. But I appreciate you guys who are able to watch us. We do this every Saturday at 2 p.m. So we're gonna have. It seems like the cloud gaming news just keep picking up. So next week we're probably gonna have a lot more to talk about. So again, appreciate you guys, and I will link all the members of this panel's channels in this description below so you guys can find them as well. All right, fellas, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Till next time, peace out.